Good morning and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. I'm John Karabatsis and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Tuesday Morning Profit Break. Thank you for joining us. The Tuesday Morning Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce costs, and enrich yourself, your team, and your business. Welcome to our new viewers and welcome back to those of you joining us again. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day. We have another great show ready to share with you today. So grab your cup of coffee or favorite morning beverage and let's get started improving your profitability. Today we have with us a very special guest, Mr. Ryan Gromfin. Ryan's culinary journey began as a teenager after watching the great chefs and personalities on TV. This led him to the Culinary Arts program at Johnson & Wales, where he graduated with honors. After a successful career working at five-star hotels and operating 4 restaurants, Ryan began sharing his knowledge and expertise with others. As the restaurant boss, Ryan is the most followed restaurant coach in the world. As a professional speaker, Ryan helps restaurant owners and operators increase profits, improve operations, and scale and grow their business. So Ryan, good morning. Welcome to the show, and thank you for taking a few minutes out of your time to help our members navigate their way through this recovery process.
Good morning, John, and thank you so much for having me. It's always such a pleasure to be working with you guys over there at BPA. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
So what do you have for us this morning, Ryan? We're anticipating some great insight from you.
So today I'm going to share something I call my 9 restaurant accelerators. I'm going to share kind of a formula, a process, a system for really scaling your restaurant. Should we jump right in?
Absolutely. It's all yours.
All right. So what I find when I'm working with restaurants, and really this system is going to transfer over to many of you who are operating full FEC centers with restaurants within them. This isn't just going to be for your restaurant portion. This is going to be for the full FEC because it's all really the same. But what I find when I talk with owners and operators and high-level managers all over the world is that what a lot of us really want is we want scale. We want to scale our business. Now, scale means something different to everybody. For some people, scale literally is the definition, the literal definition, where people want to stamp it out as we hear, right? Open up one unit, then open up another and another and another. Now, I understand that for a lot of FEC operators, that may not be the goal. You may not have the funds or even dream of opening up multiple FECs. Some of you will, some of you won't, because they're such huge operations. But scale can mean a lot of different things to different people. Scale can mean being in multiple places at the same time. Scale can mean operating different businesses. I talk with FEC operators when I'm traveling the country, and even restaurant owners that maybe only have one restaurant or one hospitality business, but they have some income properties, they have other businesses, they have other things they want to do with their family, and they also want to have some fun. So scale can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, and I don't want anyone out there to look at this and go, oh, he's here talking about scale. We're not trying to open up another unit. This isn't for us. Sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll keep going. I thought I heard something there. So again, what I encourage you to think about here is, what does scale mean to you? Before I start revealing all these Venn diagrams, no one knew we were going to be doing geometry this morning, is what does scale mean to you? Where are you trying to get your business in the next 3, 5, maybe 10 years? So what I find is really important, of course, is money. One of the first things in order to scale is money. But what I also find is that we're not always motivated by money, but the reality is money makes the journey a little bit easier. It makes it a lot more fun. It makes it a little bit easier. But the reality is also, we can't operate a business without money, without profit. So you have to throw money in here. And again, you may not be motivated by money, but you cannot scale, whether it be opening up multiple units or scaling up your life so you can do other things without creating money, right? Without that cash flow. Another thing that we find is really important to scaling is freedom. Because again, without that freedom, how are you going to operate other businesses or other locations, whatever that may be? But really what I find one of the main factors that people are really looking for is joy. We want to enjoy this process. It's supposed to be fun. We're in the hospitality business. So I think sometimes we've lost the joy in what we do. So when we're talking about scale, what you're really going to need to focus on, or what you really need to scale, is going to be money, freedom, and joy. Without that, there's never going to be scale. But if we take that to another level, so how do we create all this? Well, one of the first key areas that we need to focus on is operations. What I find a lot of the time is that if you're lacking in money, let's say, it's because of a lack of operations. With good quality operations, you have freedom and you have joy, but you're missing something there. We're going to get to what that is in a second here, but usually if you're experiencing a lot of freedom and a lot of joy, it's because you have great operations. So what I want you to do right now is I just want you to think for a second here, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, how much freedom are you enjoying right now? 10 being absolute top of the chart, 1 being no freedom at all. Do the same for joy and do the same for money before we keep going here. Just really quickly give yourself a 1 to 10. Freedom, money, joy. One of the other key areas that we need to focus on is attraction. Because again, let's look at this Venn diagram here for a second. What I find is that if we're lacking freedom, or maybe we're experiencing a lot of joy in our business, we're having fun operating our business, and we're making money, it's because we're really good at attracting, but we're missing something else there. That whatever it is that we're missing is where we're lacking that joy. So operations is a huge part, and then your attraction strategies. And don't worry, I'm going to explain all of this more in a second here. And then profit. And I think as this whole thing comes together now, you can see what I'm getting at here is when you've mastered your operations, when you've mastered your attraction strategies, and when you've mastered your profit strategies. What I mean by profit here is your profit strategies, not just profits, right? Profits come from mastering our profit strategies. When all 3 of these are mastered in your business, you're going to experience scale. But if you're missing one of these or even 2 of these, you're going to be missing out on either that money, that freedom, or that joy, which is what brings us now to these accelerators. Or even before I get to that accelerator, let's maybe look at what we're missing in our life, because sometimes it's easier to think about maybe where we need to improve, not necessarily by what we're good at, but maybe what we're struggling with a little bit. So if anyone out there right now, if you're feeling broke, and broke is a harsh word, I like to use that to kind of jar people's attention, but maybe replace that word with no cash. If you feel like you're operating a business right now and you're lacking the cash that you need, then it's quite obvious here, opposite, we have to work on our profit strategies. We have to work on our profit strategies. So just ask yourself that question right now, right? How are you feeling on cash flow? If you feel like you're lacking a little bit in cash flow, then just make a note, profit strategies. We're going to talk about what those are here in a minute. If you're feeling fearful, and this is something that I find a lot, I talk with restaurant operators that are just fearful. They're fearful of the short-term future. They're fearful of the long-term future. Maybe things are going well right now, or unfortunately with COVID, right? There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uncertainty. So maybe things were going well, but you're a little more fearful now than you've ever been before. That's usually a sign that we're lacking in the attraction category. That attract part of our business is lacking, because if we think about that, right? If we have a steady flow of customers, we can fix our operations, we can fix our profit. But if we have a steady flow of customers, there's usually not a lot of fear in your business. Where that fear comes from is the lack of that steady flow of customers, guests. Do we know how many people are going to be coming into our business on a regular basis? So again, if you're feeling fear, an area that you might want to focus on is your attraction strategies. And then stressed. Of course, I talk with operators all the time that are feeling very stressed out. They're feeling stressed, they're feeling struggle, they're feeling overwhelmed. That usually comes from operations that need a little bit of improvement, right? So when we're looking at this now, I think you can easily kind of see how this all comes together here. Is a lot of times I find when I work with businesses, they're doing really well in 2 of these 3 areas. But if they're doing great in all 3, unfortunately, they're not on the phone with me. Well, fortunately for them, unfortunately for me. But usually when I get the phone call or when I'm out working with a client, it's because there's some challenge in their business, and I'll take them through this model, and that'll give us an idea of where to start. And so again, right now, I'm going to ask you to do a quick assessment for me. Are you feeling a little fearful? Are you feeling like you're lacking a little bit of cash? Are you feeling a little stressed out? If the answer is yes to all three, we got some work in front of us. Usually it's going to be one or two of those areas where we feel like we're really feeling stressed. So let's put some focus on operations. We're really feeling fearful. Let's put some focus on attraction. We're lacking that cash. Let's put some focus on profits, or on profit strategies. So what you're going to see here is sort of an exercise that when I do a longer presentation, I'll take people through of using different crayons to rate different parts of their business. But what I really want to get to right now is I want to get to 3 of these 9 accelerators, because I think this is the area, attraction, that people want the most help in. They're feeling that fear, and especially now coming out of COVID, I felt this was going to be the most important area to share with you and to get started with you. So this is definitely where you want to take notes if you haven't been taking notes yet. And I also want to share with you that how you show up to presentations like this, to trainings like this, is going to be directly related to what you get out of them. A lot of times we put a video on like this in the background and we don't really pay that close attention to it, but there's great information here. I've been watching the series as these guys have been putting it out. It's been incredible. And then of course with what I'm sharing with you today. So please dig in, really pay attention here, because this is where the rubber's going to hit the road. So if you found a little bit of fear, which is totally okay right now, you realize you need to work on your attraction strategies. The 3 accelerators that I want you to focus on are going to be creating awareness, actively acquiring, I'm going to go into these here in a second, and automatically ascending. Now that one will need definitely some explanation, but what I want you to first think about here is people don't make buying decisions instantly, as quick as we want them to. They don't make buying decisions with their first contact with a company, a business, a service, a product, whatever that is. Now, the easier it is to consume that product, whether it be less expensive or more convenient, less of a drive, whatever it is, like a pack of gum, let's say, you can never heard of a brand of gum and make the decision to buy it instantly the first time you see it, because you're already there, it's in front of you, it's easy, it's inexpensive. But things like taking the entire family, getting them in the car, driving 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 30 minutes to your FEC, spending money, taking 4 hours out of the day, that's a big decision for people to make. They're not going to go from I've never heard of this place to let's go spend money and get in the car and drive to you instantly. There has to be a process of creating awareness. And so a lot of times what I find is when we're doing marketing pieces, when we're creating marketing campaigns, we don't actually create a campaign, we just create an advertisement. We create a direct to sale advertisement, right? Go buy this product, come visit my center, come bowl with us, come eat with us. But what we really want to do is I want you to focus on building attraction or marketing campaigns. And a campaign is a logical step, a process that we take a potential customer or potential guest through. So the first step of that has to be creating awareness. When we're running creating awareness type pieces, they're not in any way a sales tool. Like it doesn't include a coupon. It doesn't include a call to action. It's just about creating awareness. These are fun pieces. This is people having fun. In the restaurant, we do these really sexy videos of, food and fire and flames and pizzas coming out of the oven and high energy music. And we put those all over social media. Well, it's no different for yours. This is a commercial where it's just going to be people having fun. You can show your great food. You can show them having great drinks. You can show them playing in the arcade and redeeming their coupons and bowling. But there's no call to action here. This is just to create awareness. The next step is where we want to actively acquire. So once we've built up an awareness in our community or in a new segment of our community, now we can throw out a coupon. Now we can make an offer to come in and try our service, in your case, your FEC, to come try us. Buy one game, get a second game free, whatever that is for you. This is now the acquiring phase. And then the last is the ascension. So now that they've tried your business, your service, your product, how do we get them to try it more? How do we get them to come back more? Okay, they bowled one game and they played some arcade games, but now how do we get them into a junior league? How do we get them to come back once a week throughout the whole summer? This is where loyalty programs and things like that come into play. So unfortunately, due to the time restraints here today for this Tuesday morning profit break, I'd love to keep going here and get into more detail. But John, can I turn that over to you then? I wanted to definitely make sure to give everyone out there something to chew on, something to think about. But I know we're going to have some questions, so can I turn that over to you now?
Yes, thank you, Ryan. You know what? One thing I have to mention, I love the way that you explained and your perspective on scale, because as you know, in our industry, it's very capital intensive. So as soon as I hear scale, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's not that easy to open up multiple locations. So thank you for that perspective. That's very insightful. And we pretty much, you're right. We don't have a lot of time, but there's one thing I want to ask you though before we go. We've got about 30 seconds. You covered the 3 accelerators, but you really have 9. Can you touch on the other 6 quickly, just to give us a sense of what those might be?
Sure, I can bring them up here really quick for you. Of course, we're not going to have time to review them, but I am going to be at Bowl Expo coming up in Louisville, Kentucky, and this is going to be my presentation. We're not only going to go into great depth on the 3 that I've already covered, but we're going to go into even more depth on those. But then we're going to hit on all 9 of these, and what I think you'll find if you're able to attend, and I hope you do attend my presentation, that you're really going to be able to see the whole picture. And what I want to do is I want you to leave with a roadmap to scaling your business. And again, whatever scale means to you.
Right. Okay. All right, Ryan, thank you for that. Thank you for that explanation. Thank you for your insights. Very insightful. I love listening to your talk and your perspectives on our industry, because we're a little bit different, but we are very, very similar to the restaurant industry. The same challenges I think we both face. So again, thank you for spending your time with us this morning and helping our members navigate down this road to recovery. And for the rest of us out there, closing thoughts for you. Remember, if you would like to learn more about improving your food and beverage operation, Ryan will be one of our featured speakers at Bowl Expo in Louisville this June. Ryan's 90-minute learning lab, the 9 restaurant accelerators, will be taking place on Tuesday, June 22nd at 8:30 in the morning. So you don't want to miss that one. Give Ryan some time to go into depth and detail in his his topic, because it's worth watching. As we wrap up another edition of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. We look forward to seeing you next week at 10:15 Eastern for another great episode of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break. If you have any questions about today's show or would like additional information, you can reach any of us at education@bpa.com. Also, you and your team can watch any of our previous episodes 24/7 by visiting bowlinguniversity.net. Until then, I'm John Karabatsis, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. See you next week.